And it says we're live. So hello everyone. Welcome to our first MENTalk Links live. It's Tuesday, 12 o'clock, and hopefully you can see us all across all the different platforms that we've been promoting this: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Obviously, it will stay on those accounts, and we'll also pop it on our Instagram afterwards as well. So if you are kind of tuning in now, fantastic. But if not, you can tune in later and see us later on. My name's John. I'm the founder and the managing director of MENTalk Links. You'll probably see me on a load of videos that I've been doing, and I won't sort of wax lyrical about myself, other than firstly, before we bring in our guest, I just want to highlight our amazing new hoodies. So these are our new hoodies. You'll be seeing us wearing these out and about when we do different events. And as you go through our talk today, do get in touch. So you can get in touch on any of the different platforms via the comments. And I believe we get the questions pop up. This is our first time doing this, though. So if you've got any questions or comments, chuck it into the comments or whatever it is on the platform you're on, and hopefully we'll get them come up and we'll be able to answer them. Worst case scenario, we will catch up with them afterwards, and we will let you know kind of the answers to those. Anyway, I'm sort of wasting time now, and I want to get our guest straight on. So I'm going to get Sam straight in, and we'll start chatting through all things mental and physical health. So let me bring him in.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on as well.
Are you in? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. It's nice to be on for our second chat. When was our last one?
Oh, it was ages ago. Feels like months and months ago. I've got a black screen. Oh, there you are. You're back. You're here.
I think it was
it does feel like it was. Yeah, it does feel like about a year ago. But it was when I first started MENTalk Links, and we just wanted to do some Zooms and just interview people locally. And we had a really good chat then. And I think it's really good to touch base again and just kind of reintroduce you, I guess, to everybody who's watching what we're doing and things like that. So before we get started, mate, tell us a bit more about yourself and tell us what you do and why you're awesome.
Cheers. So I'm Sam. I'm 26 from Lincoln. I've been an online coach since March 2020. I probably used my lockdown time just to get my business started. I got my personal training qualification in 2017, but never really used it. Never really wanted to go on to one-to-one PTing. It was always something that I had a passion for, but I didn't really want to go into that sort of industry. And in the time I've had various jobs, and then obviously the lockdown happened, and I thought it was a great opportunity to get my online coaching business started. I had quite a few mates that were involved in it who were pushing me to do it, and I thought, why not? And obviously, ever since then, it's really kicked off. I've grown massively since we had our last talk, John. I've had a lot going on since then as well. Yeah, so at the minute, it's obviously just my part-time job. I work at the court as well at my full-time job, but obviously the passion is to just see how it goes, really. Just help as many people as I can and just use it as a passion on the side, really. So that's a little bit about me at the minute.
That's brilliant. I think that's a really nice introduction, but I think you sort of give yourself a little bit of a discredit, and I think that's fine because you're a humble guy. But I think the reason why I brought you on last time, and the reason why obviously it was worth sort of chatting to you again, just to sort of put in context for anybody watching, why we've got a physical personal trainer on MENTalk Links, is one thing I found that was really great with what you do is you kind of build into your one-to-one sessions, build into sort of like your pack for each person a lot of stuff to do with mental and emotional well-being and how it's kind of crucial to their development. And also kind of like the sort of like metrics used to sort of like rate it all and move it through. And I just think, on a real basic level, we don't do that anyway. We don't normally do that for each other. We don't normally take stock, make each other accountable for our own mental well-being, whereas physical training is kind of quite an expected thing, that you have a PT telling you need to do better here, or you need to just change this, you need to do less of this, more of this, here's your nutrition, etc. But it's not overly seen in the PT world. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to do my online coaching, just because, no disrespect to PTs, they do a fantastic job on the floor, and it's something that obviously I wouldn't turn down doing. But with online coaching, you've obviously got like a massive spectrum to it. You can look after someone 24 hours a day if you wanted to. So I've obviously got various apps, various systems that I use to be able to keep in touch with my people. and to be able to look at them in the physical side as well as the mental side. So I've obviously got my coaching app. I've got a client support app that I use as well, which is full of loads of things. And obviously that's improved since we had our last talk as well, John. Right. And then obviously we have our check-ins. We've got our Facebook group. I obviously message them on a one-to-one basis as well. So always looking at ways to improve physically and mentally as well. So, yeah.
That's really good. And I think, I mean, we'll get straight into it really. So like kind of when you're working with clients, I'll hit you with a hard question straight away. How important is it, first of all, that you do rate mental well-being, you do kind of involve yourself in their mental well-being, I guess from an outsider point of view, but also could you give us any examples and kind of evidence or what you've seen or what you know where it impacts the physical development, sort of like, and they sort of bounce off each other, if that makes sense? So also, have you seen any sort of wins or loses where people don't take into account their mental well-being as well as the physical side?
Yeah. So I think the way that I'm going to answer that is by one of my apps that I use, and then an actual bit inside the app. I have like what's called a habit tracker for each client, and that I can measure like downtime, I can measure sleep, their stress, if they've trained on that day, if they've got steps in that day. So we obviously look at various systems that can obviously help a person physically and mentally.
Yeah.
So I obviously use that to look at them and how they can improve themselves by using a simple tick list, for example.
Right.
And then what can you just repeat the question again?
Yeah, it was a bit of a long-winded one. It was like about 10 questions in one, to be honest.
Yeah,
so
my fault.
It was kind of more just looking at your experience of like how important the mental side combined with the physical, or like, you know, so say for example, you've got, you know, example A, client A, is their physical training affected by their mental well-being, and vice versa, and how do you kind of, I guess, like you've obviously answered it using this app, but how important is it to track that and kind of be involved in that?
100%. Yeah, that's why I obviously look at their sleep, I look at whether they're getting outside walking, their mental side of things, how good their motivation is, their past history with exercise, their past history with diets. It all has an effect on your physical training. It's not just your physical side of things that are going to make you bigger or make you stronger or make you feel better. It's obviously the mental side of things that are a lot more important to me. Before a client even comes to me, before I even accept them onto my plan or whatever, we have like a call, we'll go through a lot of stuff, and some of them might not even be a right fit for me. So they might not be in the right state to actually for me to work with them. They might seek better help elsewhere. So they may actually benefit just from having a talk with you guys, for example, or doing some stuff for you guys rather than me putting them through my plans. So it all depends on the person, really. Obviously, massively important is how motivated they are, whether they want to commit to something like this. There's no point in them coming to me for they feel at that moment in time they would be a perfect fit for me, but then down the line, 6 weeks down the line, they've just given up. Although I've got the tools there that can help motivate them through the process, that's not going to help them anyway. It's just going to put them further back than where they were at the start.
Yeah. No, that's perfect, and that's so crucial, isn't it, to understand the link, I guess. You know, like if you don't track this or you don't ask the question of, you know, mental well-being, emotional well-being, whatever you want to call it, as you're going through a physical training plan, you know, you don't address any shortcomings, you don't adapt to, you know, things that just happen in life. And I think that's what people forget when they're going through a physical training plan. You know, they've got a diet goal or they've got, you know, muscle gain goal or something. They don't understand that, you know, they could get poorly one week or something could happen in their life that just makes them not want to train or not want to eat properly. They want a comfort food or whatever. So it is all about balance, and I think that's quite crucial. And obviously we know. Sorry,
it's something I reiterate to them all the time, is that you need to have that balance. It's not always you're going to have this strict diet. Half the time I don't even put them on a strict diet. It's just like certain calories and macros to hit. If you put someone on a strict diet, unless they're a really highly motivated individual and they've done it before, most likely they're just going to fall off track anyway. For me, it's about building sustainable life-changing habits. That's what my coaching is about, really. It's not about putting them on a severe training program, a severe diet. It's more about actually building habits, building better habits.
I love that. We talk about habits quite a lot. So we'll move on to kind of a question I wanted to ask you about that, actually, because I've got a video coming out soon about healthy habits. And one thing I hate when I see a lot of mental health kind of I guess, kind of people, accounts and stuff talking about habits. And one thing I really hate is that they don't allow like habits that are less productive as part of the mix. They kind of say that, look, if this habit isn't serving you positively, stop it immediately. And that's like kind of counterintuitive to the nature of a habit. You can't stop something immediately. Do you know what I mean? So there's two things I wanted to ask. Yeah, exactly. So there's two things I wanted to ask you. Like, if someone come to you and they had let's not say a problem, but say they smoked quite a bit, or say they, their diet was pretty poor and they still wanted to, do certain things with their fitness and things like that. What do you sort of tell them in order to, I guess, kind of allay their fears that you're not going to say, right, cold turkey kind of thing? Is that part of the mental well-being sort of checkup thing that you do, where you work through kind of balance in that respect?
Yeah. So you'd work out obviously their past history first and foremost, see where they are at with things. It's all about how motivated they are as a person, or the actual process that they want to go down. If someone, I've had a few clients that have actually come to me and like hit it really hard, and they do want that big lifestyle change. So then I would actually put them on, you need to change this, this, and this, rather than just like a few things, a few tweaks here and there. Right. Sometimes it's only little things that they need to change, and they won't even realize it, but they'll just need that help. Yeah. So some people actually know how to train. Some people know how to diet. Some people know how many calories to hit. Yeah. They know that getting outside, getting steps in or whatever is going to help them, but they just need that a bit of accountability there.
Yeah, it's crucial, isn't it? Someone else to sort of tell them what they already know, kind of thing. Sometimes is always really good, isn't it?
That's the same with the mental health side of things as well, isn't it? So you might know that you feel this way, or you know that you might need to seek help, and it's all about seeking help, and it's about actually going to the right person to help you with that process.
Yeah, I often feel like I get penny drop moments from clients that I work with, as in like I'm telling them something that's something that I'm preaching, if you want to call it preaching. Yeah. And then I finish that conversation with them, and I'm like, I need to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've had that over the past few weeks, to be fair. Yeah, definitely.
And it's really weird how you can become accountable by being accountable for somebody else a little bit. It's so strange, but it's lovely. And you're right. You just need to talk more. We all need to talk more. Hence the name MENTalk Links. Second part of that question, though, healthy habits. So I've got a video coming out soon about healthy habits, and basically my video is deliberately confusing. It's basically saying to people, a healthy habit, or what you should be doing with healthy habits, is bringing them slowly into your life, whilst not just saying to yourself, I need to cut out all this negative stuff. So for me, healthy habits are things that add value to your life, and you can evidence it analytically. You've got something you can mark down to say it makes me happy, or it does this for my diet, or whatever. And just taking it one step at a time, and not beating yourself up if that doesn't become a habit straight away. So and another thing within the habit side of things is trying things, just trying new things, and if it doesn't work, move on to something else. So what I wanted to ask you about kind of that was, do you have like a list, or again, is it case by case that you go through with somebody and you say, right, this is something you should try? Or do you have some go-to things that you think most people should do as healthy habits?
Yeah, so obviously that habit tracker that I've got implemented is the same seven items that I have on each person's profile on the Support Hub. So I feel like them habits are needed for everyone. Whether they actually need all of them at once or they'll do them, I'll put them on there, and then you can see whether they work towards it or not. But obviously, like you said, it obviously depends on the person, how hard they want to hit it. So if someone is really in a bad place, then you just look at maybe tweaking a few things. Maybe if someone is severely overweight, they don't want to be training like 5 times a week straight away, or put on a really, really heavy diet. You need to be implementing them things slowly. So rather than putting them on like a training program straight away, a diet train away, for the first 4 weeks, I'll just say these few habits, get them done each day and tick them off on the habit tracker. And that's literally all they'll do for me for like 4 weeks. Just start to build them habits, and it'll just make them feel more motivated towards it. They feel like a better person, just getting outside, getting some better sleep. Instead of going on the Xbox or whatever for half an hour a night, they'll just read a book for half an hour.
Yeah,
just that really helps.
It's the little 1%, isn't it? And it's the momentum that they bring. I think the other thing that leads me on quite nicely to actually is the fact that when we start to implement stuff, and this is something I was really keen to ask you from a PT point of view, because I wondered about other PTs, and I've never really spoken to many other PTs, but when we start to implement stuff and it's like 1% each time, we're trying to build momentum and stuff like that. How important do you think it is to your clients to reflect and be able to sort of like sit and think, right, I did that today, and that made me feel X, good, bad, ugly, whatever you want to call it. Like, how important is that? Because I feel like we don't do it enough.
Very important. So, for example, I've got on one of my apps, I have a task. So there's tasks that they have to tick off each day, just to say, oh, I used the habit tracker, or I did this training, or they'll tick off their workout. On a Sunday, I have what's called a weekly reflection. Right. So I've got like a big list of things that they'll go through. So the successes of that week, what they thought they could change for next week, just stuff like that, really. So they'll just sit there for half an hour, plan out their next week, and they'll just do like a weekly reflection, and it'll really, really help them kick on for next week. Or they'll think, why did I do this bad this week? What got in the way? Sometimes there's things that can't really be changed. So there's obviously lifestyle things that get in the way of their training. That's fair. That's like, it happens, but they'll sit there and they'll think, what successes did I do this well this week? What can I do better next week? If I plan out this, I'll be able to get more of this in. So yeah, that's definitely something that I use positively every single Sunday for a weekly reflection. And then,
oh, nice. So it's done on a Sunday, like weekly.
Yeah, I do it on a Sunday because that's when I plan out my next week's anyway. So I wanted to get that implemented in for my clients as well, because it really does help. With your organisation, your time management, and then again reflecting on how successful or negatively your week was, and that's how we can push on for the next week.
I love that, because it also kind of offers you an opportunity to adapt. If something bad happens to somebody, or they just really struggled with a couple of like tick boxes, you can change what you need to do for the next week rather than just expecting them to carry on, kind of thing. But also, like, so how positive has it been to see people, like, I don't know whether, I don't know your clients personally, other than one or two I think that we know mutually as friends, but like, kind of, have you seen like a positive change, like mentally, with these people when they are reflecting more? Like, how important has it been for them to reflect more about what they do? Because my point I'm trying to make really is that as men, certainly, but also women as well, we don't give ourselves credit for what we achieve, and we also don't reflect positively on what we don't achieve, which is really important. Like, to actually go, right, we didn't achieve that here, what can we do to make sure we can? Or do we just, like you say, just write it off and chuck it away and move on, kind of thing? So have you seen like positive changes in people from
100% in various different ways, really, because obviously I've got my progress photos that I use, my weekly check-ins, right? You've probably seen me post on my stories, all my client wins and stuff. And then obviously them talking to me like, oh, I've fit into this pair of clothing today, or I feel this good today, I've never felt this good. Like, one of my clients, Kieran, did a massive testimonial for me a few months back. He was like, I've never talked for so long in front of a camera. It's like 7 minutes long, just him talking about his journey. And I think between now and then, he's like 20K down.
Jeez.
He says he's never felt so good. He's obviously more confident when he goes out. But then again, he's still able to enjoy himself. He's a big Lincoln fan, so he's always at the football. When you can imagine how rough his Saturdays are, but that's fine. It doesn't get in the way. He's still able to enjoy his life. So, but yeah, he says that that's one of the examples that he's never felt so good, physically and mentally. So that's literally the exact reason why I do it, just to improve people's lives mentally and physically. So.
No, it's lovely, and I think that's crucial, isn't it? Like, I think what you need to see from people generally is the how they feel about it. I know that sounds a bit kind of like lame, really, but like, for me, if I was ever to have a PT, if I was ever to have something towards a physical goal, it would have to be a physical goal where I know I'm going to feel great about it at the end, not because I think I have to, not because I think I need to fit into a box, and I've only just come to terms with that. I'm mid-30s, you know what I mean? Like, early 30s, right the way back to my teenage years, I can remember feeling like I had to fit into a box, looking at my mates smaller than me, around the waist or whatever, or more muscly than me or whatever. And like, there's an element of, would that have ever made me happy to be like them? Or, what am I trying to look for here? And I think what you're doing, probably without even realizing it, is you're allowing them a bit of space to like find out what they want to get out of it a little bit. So you probably have, that's probably my next question actually. Do you have people come to you and they say, right, I want this is my goal, and then during the time that they're with you, do they change their goals slightly, or do they sort of like move it around?
Not really. We look at other goals, but most of the time it's just they want this or they want that or they want to improve this. But doesn't really change a lot. We can implement the things to make them have different goals throughout the way. For example, so if someone wanted to specifically lose fat, it's not always. I don't always say to them, you don't just want to lose fat. 'Cause most of the time, that's just you're looking at social media or whatever, and you're saying you want to look like this person. Half the time, anyway. Most of the time, I just implement them, and I'm just telling them that you probably want this because you want to feel better about yourself. You just want to feel better about yourself. You want to be able to go outside. You want to be able to put on a bikini or your shorts when you go on holiday. Go to family events or events and be told by you look good, or it's literally that simple. But because of like modern day society and social media, it has a massive impact, and people are they need to look like this, they need to look like that. More overweight. It's just as good as social media is. In that way, it is really, really bad, and that's what I hate about it, because my business is mainly on Instagram. But at the same time, like last night when it was down, I absolutely loved it.
A bit of a break from it.
Down last night was the best thing ever, because it was just such a nice refresher for like 6 hours without having to go on anything. Just stay away from it all.
I must say it was really great for me as well. Like I felt really like at ease and chilled, not really realizing that nothing was coming in. I didn't need to check anything, and you realize actually. When I said the words there, I needed to check something. I didn't need to check anything. Nothing stopped. Do you know what I mean? The world didn't stop revolving around. So we are a bit sort of tied to it. Yeah, no, it is really interesting. Like I think the expectations that we put on ourselves are very much external most of the time. And I think most of the time when I'm working with people, and I'm sure you're the same as well on a physical point of view, is what we need to actually change is the expectations that we want for ourselves, not based on something else. So like almost like an internal expectation, you want to be able to create a goal that's based on what you want, not what you think you want based on something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's really good. And definitely by the sounds of what you do, it's definitely built in sort of subconsciously a little bit, perhaps, like, because they come to you with a goal. The reason I asked that question with whether it changes goals is because I think, like, and you answered it perfectly, I think as they're progressing, they realize how happy they are as they're progressing, and they actually realize that their goal is actually slightly different to what they originally wanted, because their goal is just to feel better about themselves, and just feel happier. So I quite like that. Yeah, it's really good. One more thing then, mate, because I won't keep you too long, and it's obviously your lunch break or whatever. So one more thing I wanted to ask you. You been going sort of like 18 months now, I guess. What's the kind of bigger plans? Do you have like bigger plans, and kind of, do you want to really push for people to do kind of anything in particular? Do you want to sort of do a shout out to change what you're doing to sort of get more clients in a certain way, different way? I noticed that you're always kind of trying to take people on to fit into your time frames and stuff, but like, is there anything in particular you're looking for, kind of thing?
Obviously, I want it to be a full-time thing throughout the years. Even my current workplace knows that, just because of my passion for it. I'm a long way off. I'm a long way off it. I won't lie.
What would you need? What would you need to quit your job?
What? How many clients?
Yeah.
Well, a lot.
Right. Fair enough.
A good amount more.
Right.
Obviously, that's why it's tough, because I don't want to just take on anyone. I want to take on people that actually suit my programs.
You're doing it in the right way, aren't you? Like, this is the thing. You're not taking a big risk saying just everybody come and work with me. You're basically saying, let's do it the right way. Do it so that you affect people. You're doing it to affect people, and then you'll get, it'll be done properly. Otherwise, you could do all that. You could bring all the people in, and then you could fail miserably because you actually won't succeed with these people. So, I think you do it the right way.
I think it's harder from an online coach to PT. So obviously, when you work in the gym, you've got clients that can just simply come up to you, or you can reach out to them like just by having this conversation now. But online, it's more word of mouth, your results, putting yourself out there, always being active, showing that you obviously are working in the background. Because although online coaching is just simply posting your stories or posting your pictures, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background that people don't even realize. Busy role. And even with the amount of clients that I do now, I know people that have got like 50 to 200 clients, and the work that they're doing is just ridiculous. Constantly at it.
Are you quite sort of like, and I think I know the answer to this already, but are you quite transparent with like kind of your clients in a way, like with the amount of work you put in, the amount of time you put in? Like, I don't necessarily mean like, look lads, I'm putting loads of effort in here kind of thing, but like, I mean, like,
I am strict with them on that way, because it does annoy me when they don't I don't know, they don't check in on time or they won't respond to my Facebook posts or something like that. When you're doing all this work in the background for them, it's like, oh, annoying. But at the same
But I
time,
guess that's the buy-in. That's the buy-in, isn't it? Like they're
it is,
buying
yeah.
a service, you're
Not
getting X,
everyone's
Y, and
going to
Z.
be like that, so it just depends on the person, doesn't it? But again, you just
But I
need
think
to
you
just
add
work
the
out
value.
yeah.
Yeah, and you add the value by the fact that you're doing such a well-rounded thing. So really,
Yeah.
they've got to kind of listen and just try and sort of get involved as much as possible. But no,
Not be too hard, because I don't want to scare them off.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I get it. Right. Last question then, mate. Kind of, where can people find you? What can people kind of do to get in touch with you if they want a PT, if they want to get involved and join your crew and all that kind of thing? How can they get in touch with you, mate?
Mostly on my Instagram, or my Facebook pages, and then obviously just any of the messenger. But if you do want to chat, you can fill in the link in my Instagram bio. We can arrange a call, or you can just direct message me if you want. All my stuff is on there about my programs, as well as my Facebook page as well. Just Sam Sutton PT for Instagram, Sam Sutton Online Coach for my Facebook page.
Cool.
And then obviously, if you just want to get hold of me any other way, that's fine as well. But yeah, mostly through there. And then obviously you'll see me in Everlast Gym as well, so in Lincoln. So if anyone wants to speak to me face to face, then they're more than welcome to.
Just come up and be like really weird and get in your face. Yeah. Saw you on that mental links thing, and you were talking to that guy with the weird massive forehead. But yeah, we'll tag you on all the stuff so that people can find you. But thank you for coming on, mate. It's been like, obviously I've known you for a while, and I think like obviously we played football together and stuff like that, so we've known each other for a bit. But it's been really nice to see the journey you've been on, mate, because like I really do feel like it's something that's massively needed to kind of just spread the message a bit more, that actually like physical training and physical development generally is so important for your mental well-being, but also, you know, it improves your mental well-being to go the other way as well, to actually do some physical training, you know, like so I think it's really important that, you know, that's a real holistic sort of like look at it. You know, when we spoke last time, we spoke about kind of the triangle. You know, you got nutrition, you know your diet, and then you've got physical well-being, mental well-being. And I think like, you know, generally speaking, we all kind of look after one or two naturally, if that. And I think that the more we can tune into all three, and it suits us personally, then I think that's really important, and it just makes you generally more happier, I think. So, I mean, I'm not the greatest person, the greatest example for that, but I certainly am more aware of my physical abilities and my physical need for fresh air and getting out and walking and running and stuff like that more than I've ever been, because it does impact your health, does impact your mental health. So
it's good to see what you've been doing as well, mate. It's good, the growth that you've been on.
No, thanks, mate. Yeah, going crazy, and it's really good to see it happening.
What things have you got coming up?
They've got loads coming up. In fact, it's a good thing you said that. Shameless plug, on Sunday I'm doing the Hope Walk for Papyrus, which is a teenage suicide charity, a youth suicide charity. You can still donate, everyone watching. You can donate on Just Giving, and there's loads of posts on our MENTalk Links social media about how you can donate. But essentially I'm walking from the cathedral to Sleaford, so 27 miles, with a group of people who are really keen to get involved and do it with me, going across fields and lots of ups and downs terrain, seeing every single church on the way there. It's just it's called Spires and Steeples, and it's an old marathon running route. It's like off-road running route. So we're going to walk it. No, absolutely not. We're going to walk it. We're going to walk it. That's why it's called the Hope Walk. We're going to walk nicely at a decent pace, and we're going to talk about life, and we're going to be on the lives. We'll be on stories and stuff like that, so people can catch us on there. But please donate. Yeah, and then we just got loads of other stuff coming up. You know, towards the end of the year, we've got so many plans happening. We're going to do lots of now everything's opening back up. I know that people kind of assume that everything is open back up, but gradually speaking, it's becoming more and more common that people are getting out and about now, which is great. So we're going to start different nights and different weekend stuff that's happening. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But I don't want to give too much away, because I kind of don't want to commit to things that might not happen yet. But we will be doing stuff very soon for new things. So no, cheers for all the nice words, mate, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you for having me.
Just having a flip through the comments, just had loads of people talking about the hoodie, saying it was really nice. That was cool. Thank you. And then Dan said, yeah, great for people needing a break from social media, not so great for digital marketers. Yeah, Dan works in marketing. Dan works in marketing. I work in marketing. I mean, from a work point of view, I guess I'm quite lucky that I can down tools sometimes from a marketing side, but no, I can imagine everybody who's in marketing looking at their phone being mega paranoid.
I use my Instagram for marketing, don't I? So I felt the same, but apart from that, it was great. Yeah.
Nice break. Right, cool. Thanks, Sam. I'll see you soon, mate. And thank everybody for coming along and watching. And we'll see you next time for the next MENTalk Links live.
Take care,
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
See you soon, mate. Bye bye.